Hi, everybody. So, I just wanted to share some things. Oh, life is crazy. Um, so, we're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic right now. And I'm 2 weeks into recovering from my bilateral mastectomy. I, found out I had breast cancer about 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And we had an earthquake here in Utah yesterday. It was a 5.7 out of Magna, and here in the Salt Lake Valley, we felt, a good shock of it, good shock wave from it, and we, felt the aftershocks, and then, yesterday, I found out that someone very dear to me was making some really drastic life changes, and these changes they're making in their life, changes the way I, not just me, but like my family and everybody, knows them. Like they're making such drastic changes. I feel like I have to get to know them again. Like I thought I knew who they were, and it took us all by surprise. It wasn't any coming out kind of thing. It was something else, but it's pretty private, so I'm not going to get into it. But anything involving a family member that you think you know them, like you think you know who they are, and then they pull the rug out from under you, and it's just like, what just happened? So I'm having a lot of what just happened moments. Cancer, earthquake, family drama, coronavirus. I don't even know if there's therapy for this kind of thing. It's like, oh, I just want to breathe. I just want to just like not do anything, just sit and breathe and just, oh, I'm still alive. I'm still here. Still alive for now. My family's been a lot about, quarantining me right now because I'm recovering from surgery and going through reconstruction, and so my immune system isn't what it should be. And I just wanted to talk about the different kinds of quakes in our lives. I had this analogy that came to me when we had this, I had this family drama happening, and it felt like when I got the news, it felt like a kind of like spiritual earthquake. Yesterday was a very physical earthquake, and that news about my family member was a major spiritual earthquake, and of course, being told I have breast cancer, had breast cancer, I have to keep telling myself, as far as we know, I am breast cancer free right now. I feel like it's my mantra. I'm like doing yoga and meditating, and I'm like, I'm breast cancer free. I'm breast cancer free. I have to convince myself of this. It's such a trauma, when you're told something like that. I'll probably have PTSD about it for the rest of my life. If you can imagine feeling every possible human emotion all at once, that's what it's like to be told that you possibly have a terminal illness, that your life expectancy may very well be cut short, and that you might be fighting something for who knows how long. And I've never experienced anything like that before. I've had 4 miscarriages in the event of trying to have my family with my husband, and we have 3 living children. I've had 7 pregnancies, and I went through a lot with all of them. I had hyperemesis gravidarum with every single pregnancy. If you don't know what that is, it's extreme nausea and vomiting with pregnancy. I had to go into the ER and be rehydrated a lot, and it's torture. If you could imagine being in a prison cell for 7 months or more, where you can't eat and you can't drink, and you find yourself dreaming about food. It's a lot like that. That's what hyperemesis gravidarum is. You wake up and you're so sick, you can't eat and you can't drink. And I was throwing up my saliva. I know that's gross, TMI, right? But women out there who've had hyperemesis gravidarum, I know you know what I'm talking about. You can't even swallow your own saliva out of fear of just throwing it up. It's very traumatic. My doctors tried different medications to help me. Zofran was the one that helped me the best, but it wasn't perfect. It's like ibuprofen. It takes the edge off, but the nausea is always there. It's torture. I also had gestational hypertension with my last pregnancy and preeclampsia, and postnatal hemorrhaging with every single one of them, postnatal depression after the birth of my second child. And I didn't know what that was at the time. I hadn't experienced what I was experiencing with my first child, and then I was experiencing something completely different after the birth of my second child. And after research and talking to my doctor, I was diagnosed with postnatal depression, and it took me 4 years, support groups and therapy and lifestyle changes, and crazy. And after the birth of my last child, which was very traumatic, like I said, with the preeclampsia, and the hyperemesis gravidarum, and everything that happened with that had to be induced, and with Pitocin, which, by the way, is extremely painful. After that, I ended up with infection after infection after infection. I think my body was just so traumatized. My immune system was shot. And I know this isn't a super uplifting post I'm doing right now, but I just feel like I really need to share these experiences, and hopefully somebody out there will hear this and not feel so alone. You'll know that there's someone out there, who's been through this, who's been through these things. But among those infections I had after my birth with her, I ended up with a C. diff infection because I was prescribed too many antibiotics. That took me 6 months of antibiotic therapy and probiotic therapy, and luckily, I overcame that. And as a result of my immune system being shot, even though I had been vaccinated during my pregnancy, I ended up with pertussis. And if you don't know what that is, it's whooping cough, which is extremely painful illness. I was sick with that for 3 months. So that entire year was a nightmare. But I overcame it. And through all of that adversity, I learned, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. We can do hard things. Human beings are resilient, and we are survivors, and we can do hard things. And, now this year, like I said, cancer, coronavirus, family drama, earthquakes. Yeah. I just say no more, right? Moment of silence. Just breathe. My mantra, I don't have cancer. I can do hard things. I don't have cancer. I can do hard things. My in-laws gave me this big, beautiful bouquet of roses. It was the largest bouquet of roses I've ever seen in my life. They were absolutely gorgeous. And 1 week into my recovery, my arms were still extremely sore. I couldn't move them very well, but they were starting to wilt, and it was such a large bouquet. I couldn't ask my husband to trim them and fill the vase with water and put the rose food in. I'm not entirely sure he knows how to do all that. It's not hard, but I don't often see a lot of guys, do that. I always do that, like with the flowers. I always trim them and try to take care of them and, keep them happy and alive for as long as possible. This was such a big, beautiful bouquet of roses. It made my entire room smell like roses instead of healing from bilateral mastectomy smell, whatever that smell might be. You can't shower for like a week. And so maybe there was some insight into that gift, but they were absolutely to die for, gorgeous roses. Well, 2 weeks in, and the entire bouquet is dead except for this one. I want to show you here. This one rose. If I can get it here. This one beautiful rose that's just hanging in there. Tall and straight. It's kind of shadowy, but it's gorgeous. Anyways, it's the only one left out of the whole bouquet, and it was right in the center of the bouquet. And once again, I couldn't help but, think of this analogy, in light of spiritual earthquakes and actual earthquakes and, mental trauma, physical trauma. I'm going through all that right now. A lot of people are. A lot of people are going through that right now. But I couldn't help but think, this one rose that through all the adversity was right in the middle of the bouquet, right in the middle of it all, and it survived. All the roses on the outside that were able to reach and spread their petals, they wilted and died more quickly. They almost like they were like moving away from the bouquet, running away from the bouquet, and they they didn't make it as long. But the one right in the middle of it all, the one surrounded by all the commotion, crowded out by everybody else, but this one survived. And I couldn't help but relate that to what's going on right now in the world and in my life personally, and everything I've been through. Sometimes I feel like I just want to pack my bags and I just want to get away. I just want like even just a 3-day hiatus, just go somewhere, fly somewhere, hide away in a beautiful hotel and hot tub and beach or warm beach and sun, and just rest, just heal. And you can bet I'm going to be doing that as soon as I possibly can. But we can't always, run away. Sometimes the best way to survive is to be right in the middle, to, endure, to have to work a little bit harder, to reach, to have to reach further, to have to reach harder than everything else around you, reach farther than your trauma, reach farther than your adversity, reach farther than the noise, spread your petals and find that sun, find that light, and survive, That's what we all need to do right now, We need to stay calm, and we need to endure, and maybe try a little harder, but relax, stay calm, and just push our way through it all. Enjoy time with our families right now, enjoy time with our families. Do things that we haven't done before. If you're an ex-genner like me, maybe now's a good time to play it like it's the 90s, like it's the 80s, I was a teenager in the 90s. We didn't have cell phones like everybody has now. But I was a kid in the 80s, and in the 80s, you just ran outside and played, got dirty. Kids can't play together right now, but they can still run outside and play, and maybe with their parents. We all need to get out there. We need to do what we can, or play board games together. Listen to music, sing karaoke, whatever it is you got to do. Make those memories now. Make memories with your family. Endure, push through it all. Do what you can. Even rest, relax a little. If life's been stressful. And be patient with each other. We need to be patient. We need to calm down. The world is not coming to an end. This is an event in our human experience. In our mortal experience, this is an event. This is not the end of the world. It feels like it. If anybody knows what the end of the world feels like, it would be a cancer survivor. And I have to keep reminding myself that right now. There was no cancer cells in my lymph nodes. I had a bilateral mastectomy. They removed the cancer. As of right now, I am considered to be cancer-free. And I have to keep reminding myself I am a survivor through all this. We can get through this together. And I just wanted to share this message with everybody. And prayers to you and yours. And stay safe out there.